Hi, good evening. This is Natasha Aylott from Get Blissed, the Detox Your Life coach. And it is my very great honor to have with me this evening one of my very dear friends who also is a kindred spirit. And that is Aykan Akin from Germany. He started off his life, he'll probably tell you more himself, but he started off his life as a chemical engineer and found his way to personal development and now does amazing work with his company to help children in third world countries. And he's got events coming up. So I'm going to introduce you and hand over to Aikin so that he can make his own introduction. So Aikin, good evening. It is lovely to speak with you. How are you?
Thank you, Natasha. Thanks for this opportunity and thanks for the introduction. I'm very excited to be here and to have this opportunity. And yeah, I have to ask you, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. And how are you?
The best, the best. Maybe the name is a little bit confusing, I think, for some of the listeners. Aiken, Aiken. So maybe the best would be like the abbreviation or my nickname, I can.
I
Let's
love
start with
it. I love it. I can. That is so cool. Where did that come from?
Where did it come from? I think it was in the 11th class, and our English teacher pronounced it somehow funny, so it sounded like icon. And I said, "Yeah, Mr. Lang, I'm sorry, what did I do?" And he said, "Wait, what? I didn't say anything to you." And so I got the nickname I can. That's how it happened.
Fantastic. So tell our audience a little bit about yourself because obviously I'm here in the UK and you're here in Germany. Whereabouts in Germany are you at the moment?
I'm right now near Frankfurt, and yeah, preparing also for June for events and preparing a little bit of concepts for what's to come.
Fantastic.
Also, yeah,
And tell everybody a little bit about yourself. What's your background? Where did you come from?
yeah. Let me start at the beginning, or maybe today. Today I'm a chemical engineer right now, working in a big chemical company as I have a leadership position, everything. But yeah, doing good and great and everything, but that was not always yeah, the same. We had the first thing I remember in this world where I can imagine real stuff around me was is like you have to imagine a little room with shredded walls, no wallpaper. It's winter and the radiators are not working,
Oh,
and there is a little small bed in this room, and on this bed there is a woman with a little child in her belly, and this little child is me. And that's what I have in mind, like the first picture I have in this world. And it's like my mother and I in this room in winter. It's cold, and we had yeah, we were blessed because we had a neighbor who gave us like an electrical radiator, so we could warm up. And yeah, so that's what I can imagine at first. And as you hear right now, where's the father? Yes, that's it. There was no father. So I was raised all alone by my mother. And that's, yeah, after finishing, I don't know, kindergarten, my mother started also working all the time. So I was raised somehow here by, by one neighbor, then by another one, and that kept going on until I was like teenager, I don't know, 14, 15, so I learned to stay home alone. And my mother was working from morning until evening, three different jobs to keep us above the water, as we could say in German, you know. So to keep us to have food and clothes and everything. And yeah, these are the, you could say, challenges I had in my life. Also, one which maybe most of people in Europe can't imagine is like have to wear clothes from other people because my mother did not have enough money to buy us or to buy me clothes. So I took it from neighbors' children who had grown up and didn't need or couldn't fit into their clothes anymore. So then they gave it to us. So we had a lot of support from our neighbors and the community here. And yeah, as I said, that kept going on in school, being like raised up with no father. I had some issues with self-esteem, and yeah, that's maybe one of the reasons I had to repeat a class, for example, so I was not the best at school. And yeah, that continued, I think, and I managed somehow to finish school, neither bad nor good. I did okay, and I don't know how it happened, but then I got into this chemical company, and this was like the first jackpot I had in life. And yeah, this was the first step to real life, being after having all these challenges behind me, finishing school. This was the first real step into real life, as we could say. And I was not prepared for that. Yeah, I was not prepared for that. And
Wow.
that's been now, I think, yeah, 2009 was when I joined the company, and now it's 7 years later. And I can only say that since 2 years, I feel really confident in what I do at this company. So, as you could say, school and the traineeship and everything, in my opinion, didn't really prepare me for what was or is to come. And just when I started really doing the job, I started to learn really everything I needed to do this job. So I wasn't prepared for life, for job, or whatever after finishing school. And that's what really got me thinking. That got me thinking. If you go to school, have a traineeship and everything, and at the end you can, I don't know, do like analysis and math stuff which you don't need in your life. It's okay to, it's good to know them, but you don't need them in your whole life. But and the essential things you don't get taught by whoever, whatever. And yeah, that got me really thinking, and it somehow also disturbed me. So I tried to put up something which can change that. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That's such an incredible story and such an amazing journey. You've come so far. And you know what? I completely honor your mother. What an amazing, incredible woman to just
Oh yeah.
everything, make so many sacrifices and just completely put you first and her, her family first in all that she did. That must have been some enormous steep learning curve for you, and you went through so much. And I guess, in some ways that's probably brought you to where you are now, and this vast appreciation for everything that you have in your life, and where you are right now, that you just want to be able to give back. Is that where that passion started? Is that what the catalyst was? It changed everything for you?
Yeah, I could say also I had this life-changing event, or what you would call it. There are a few, but one was definitely I had this drive, this motivation, yeah, what kept me going. That as I said, I was raised without a father, but I knew him a little bit, so we don't had really contact and everything. But that was my drive to make myself like, I don't know, put myself in a state where he could be proud and where I would get his attention, for example. And I didn't know that at that time. That was like unconscious, and that's what I think of myself now looking back. And um, so that was my drive. And in 2009, he died, and at the same time, my drive was gone. Like my wings, which kept me going, were cut off. And then I fell really in this, yeah, I could say, in this deep hole, and I was like really, I'm not gonna say depressed, but nearly to that. So, and that made me also antisocial, like for, I don't know, 3 years or something. I didn't want to go out to meet people and everything, and yeah, that was really one life changing, because I lost my drive, and I thought, okay, what's going to come now? I'm working and everything, but what's there more? And I somehow realized when you are out and see people who are in need and help them, like give them a few cents or buy them something from the bakery and give it to them, whatever. That were the moments where I really felt happy. And this is also one thing that happened, I think, unconsciously. And I realized then, in looking back now, if you make others happy or help them, what you get is like the most beautiful emotion you can have, and that's yeah, happiness just by looking at others being happy. And this is one I think this is what's driving me now. At first one of the points which drives me, definitely this one, making others who are in need, or where you can help others. If you help them, make them happy, what you get is like I don't know how to describe it. It's unbelievable.
Oh, that is so beautiful, I can. So beautiful. You're so young to have experienced this already. And it reminds me of, well, Tony Robbins, because you and I met at a UPW event, didn't we, in London,
Yeah, of course.
which was completely phenomenal. And he tells a similar story, you know, really a struggle as he was growing up as a young boy. And then quite soon he realized that he could help somebody else. And and he just wanted to do that. And he was driven like you were driven. He didn't lose his father. He didn't really know his fathers. He had four different fathers, I think, if I remember
Yeah,
from what he shared. And, you know, you as as you were growing up, you experienced being brought up by your mother solely, not knowing your father hardly at all, and really wanting his approval, presumably because you felt abandoned by him and, wanted to just be loved by him and accepted by him. And so, you were doing everything you possibly could to get to a point, I believe, that he would notice you and he would love you and welcome you into his life. And so it must have been an enormous blow to you when he died in 2009. And I absolutely understand how that must have affected you in terms of you almost shutting down for a few years whilst you regrouped and had to have a different purpose almost, because if he was your driver, if he was your reason for pushing yourself and everything else, you had to almost reinvent that, didn't you, for yourself, to become a self-starter and get yourself to where you are right now, until you had that aha moment when you first helped somebody and it just felt amazing to give to another human being without expecting anything else in return.
yeah. That's I didn't know what kept me into this yeah, direction, like for this giving and don't wanting anything in return. But one also major event which really put me into this direction to start this project was like also the same situation. I gave something, and that was like voluntarily teaching kids in school and everything for their yeah school classes. And we have some system here where the school you have to go to school 13 years to go to university. And one of the children I helped in the class was like in the ninth grade, and he was yeah just at finishing school, so he didn't want to go to the next school, and also his yeah grades were not really the best. So we talked. It was not like I'm teaching him vocabulary and math stuff, but we talked about problems in life. So you could say I also did. I didn't know what I was doing, but at the end, I was doing somehow like coaching
Well,
stuff with
you
children.
were mentoring him, weren't you? You were mentoring.
Yeah. And what I realized, I didn't see this guy for like 3 years. And when I met him, he said, I'm getting ready to go to university. And I was like, yeah, I know. I saw that in you. You had this potential. And I realized at the same time that he didn't see this potential in himself. And then I asked myself, did I or can I see this potential in myself? And then I realized, no, I didn't see it, and I can't really, yeah, describe it or feel it. How big is this potential within me? And then I realized also how many children are there out there which have the same problem. And this was also one major effect which caused me to start this project to help young people for life by, yeah, getting to know what are their fears, getting to know what are their targets and aims in life. And yeah, this is how or on what this project I can is based on. You know, it's on my story and what I lived with other people. It's not only my story, but what I lived with people who I met during this challenges in life and everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that I mean that's so powerful. And it was almost as if it was a divine intervention that stepped in and, allowed you to play this part because you had this deep understanding of what it felt like not to be, a top grade student, not to be, an A-star student, but to be have average grades and may or may not get to university. And so you were able to recognize in this child their potential. You were able to see what they were capable of, and therefore you could reflect back the mirror to them of their greatness really and their amazing potential, and so that they could go on and realize that. And I think it's such a gift that you have, and it's so beautiful that you've recognized that, realized that, and that you actually want to do something about it. The huge why for you is so enormous and it's so visible that you have almost completely changed your life around, or you're in the process of changing your life around. I know you're a very successful chemical engineer, that you're doing your master's, that you've got so much going on in your life right now. So academically, you've certainly proved to yourself that you can do it. But there's another side of yourself that's coming into fruition and really, developing legs and standing in its own power. And that's your amazing work that you're organizing seminars for and raising money for these charities. And I think your passion and purpose for life is so infectious, and it's so amazing. I see your eyes light up when you talk about it. And obviously
Thank
you're
you.
proud of your academic accomplishments, and rightly so, because you've really had to drag yourself almost kicking and screaming up this uphill struggle of a mountain to climb, really. And you've done that, but deep inside you've got this unbelievable desire to give back, to help other people the way you've managed to help yourself. So I'd love to hear about the project that you're working towards at the moment and your event coming up in June, I believe. Would you be able to share with our viewers a little bit about the project and also the website, and if they wanted to log in and find out a bit more about it, where they would actually go?
Of course, I'd love to. Thank you. Thank you first of all for this beautiful words. I'm not really used to that. Because somehow it seems normal to do that for me. And yeah, what's the aim of the project? The aim is to, as I said, school doesn't really prepare you for life. You don't get leadership skills taught in school or university, and I don't know if it's somehow different in any part of the world, but I think the school systems and university systems are nearly somehow the same. You don't really get taught the essential stuff. And for me, one essential thing is what is my fear and how do I can dance with it? Because what I saw in myself and also the people around me, the thing that keeps us from trying to be who we are, and that's really pity to say trying to be who we are, because that's what most people do. They try to be who they are truly are, and because they have this fear of not being accepted by others or their family or friends or whoever it is, and this fear keeps us from yeah, like living really our true life. We cage ourselves within ourselves, our true selves, and we put on a mask. And I don't know if it's true, but I think it's true. And every one of my best friends says it. I'm always the same. It doesn't matter where I am. And this took me also, yeah, of course, some energy, also some time, and also, yeah, a lot of dancing with fears to get out of your comfort zone, to be able to stand for what you think, what you say, and what you live for, the values. And this is something I want to teach these children to see, be who you are. I know what fears you have because we all have the same fears. Not being accepted, not being enough, and not being loved. This is essential. We learned that, and Tony also, yeah, says that a lot. So this is the basic thing what I want to show the kids. So every fear that they have to go on to take a step is only based on these two fears, and to learn how to dance with them. And only if you, yeah, are going face to face with your fears, then you see that they also can be your best friends and not your worst nightmare or enemy or whatever. And because I know that, I was like afraid of heights, of flying, and I jumped out of an airplane with a parachute. So then I learned fears can be your best friends.
Mm,
And I want not the children to jump out of airplane. I don't mean that, but I want them to see that the fear of the actual fear is worse than the fear itself.
absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
there are a lot of examples. You also know them maybe. Like I don't know this guy who this three guys I think in Chicago it was who are in a cooler room and they can't go outside, so they were closed into this cooler room, and they knew for sure that this cooler room would start cooling down the temperature like 3 hours later. And the next morning, these three guys were found dead, even though this cooler room didn't start cooling down, and they had symptoms of like dying by too cold, yeah, room temperature. And so the fear is really what killed them because the room didn't change its temperature. So no cooling effect and everything. Only the fear of this cooling, which could kill them, is what actually killed them.
Mm,
And so there you have to see the power of fear. Having fear of something is really, really too strong, and you have to know how to deal with that. So that's one of the basic things of this project. So what is my fear and how can I overcome and dance with that? Because we cannot lose our fears. They are always there, but you just have to learn how to dance with them. So this is one pillar of the project, and the other one is to see.
I love that. Dance with your fears. Oh my god. Well, I love dancing. So that would be amazing to dance with your fear. That's incredibly powerful. I love that example you gave, of the mindset literally taking over, and they believed in their hearts that they were stuck and they were trapped in the cooler and that it was going to get so cold that it would kill them, and they literally died because of that. Amazing. How powerful our minds are, right?
Yeah, extremely. I think one example which every one of us knows maybe also how powerful this fear can be. I think every one of us has dreamed that we are falling down from somewhere. And it's just an imagination, but if you dream this and just before you like slam on the whatever, the bottom or floor, whatever, you wake up and your heartbeat, look on your heartbeat, what's going on with your heartbeat. It's like going crazy, and you can see how the fear of that is of an imagination can really influence your physical form. So if we keep that in mind always, I think some things in life would be easier.
Yeah, you take care of your mind and your mind will take care of your body, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So tell us a little bit about how people can get involved and support what you're doing. Tell us a little bit about your event, when it's on, and what your website is that they can go and visit.
Yeah, of course. Okay. So as you mentioned, we have in June, the 6th of June,
Mhm.
an event with is a charity that is a charity event. So we're gonna collect the money for children in South Africa who have no parents and live with a friend of ours there in this village of joy, what we call it. So they have like this one mommy who's taking care of 30 children, and we are trying to, of course, support her from here with the children, like medicine, school stuff, and everything, to keep the little ones smiling. And this is what the event on the 6th June is all about, and also the kick-off of the project. So I'm going into details. What are the three pillars of the project and everything? And we are always thankful for any support because this whole project is based on charity. And questions, or if you want to take a look, the website is like www all minus I minus can.de, because we're in Germany, that's why it's DE. And or you can write an email to info at all minus I minus can all minus I minus can.de. Yeah. So we can get in touch if there's any interest to support something. And my vision is to go someday global with this. To like, I don't know, Tony inspired me with that. Giving meals to like 1 million people in need. That's goal I set also for my life after hearing what he did. So that's what I want to do someday, to help all those who are in need. And that's why we start this project also with the charity aspect. And that's why I want to keep going. And anybody's welcome. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. It's about your beautiful mind. It's all about your beautiful heart. It's all about your beautiful thoughts. That's what counts for us. And yeah, everyone is welcome.
Absolutely. Oh, that's fantastic. And let me just reiterate, because I wasn't sure about the website. I think it's www.all underscore I underscore can.de. The minus is slightly higher. Its underscore is lower down, isn't it? Is that correct?
Yeah, it's not underscore. It's minus. It's minus.
Oh, a
It's
minus. It is a
it's
minus.
the higher one. Yeah.
Got it. Right. Okay. Thank you for confirming that. So if anybody wants to support or contribute, find out more about, then do visit www.all-i-can.de and feel free to email Aykan at info@all-i-can.de, and that will be amazing. And that is on June the 6th, and it's an evening event, is it not?
Yeah, it's an evening event, and we have one of the top three, I could say, speakers of Europe, not Germany, but Europe, and who supports us. And I think it's going to be an amazing evening, and a little bit, yeah, seeing into your own soul and doing something good for others. So it's a win-win situation for every one of us.
Fantastic. And what time do you kick off?
The kickoff is going to start on 6th June at 6 p.m.
At 6 p.m. in the evening. Lovely, lovely. Oh, that's brilliant. And I know that you're really well traveled. Recently, you were in beautiful, gorgeous Rome. So, what is it that made you so passionate about the third world? What is it that drew South African children to you and the South African orphanage?
I cannot really say what's driven me, but it was also one event. Like my parents are originally from Turkey, and we visit our grandparents nearly every year. And I have to say they come from a village where you don't have always water, and you don't have hot water, and also the electricity is also a problem, and the people there always care for themselves, so there is no really shop or mall or whatever near them. And when I was little, like I don't know, 4 or 5 years old, we went there, and I was like crazy about chocolate at that time. You know, I had to eat chocolate every day, and tons and million of tons. And my mother knew that, so she took a lot of chocolate with us for the 6 weeks to Turkey. And when we were there and I played with the children, I realized that they don't have this opportunity to eat chocolate every day, or I don't know if they have it to eat it at every month, or I don't know. So I realized they don't have this opportunity. So it's really something special for them. And what I did was like I also ate a little bit, but most of it we gave away to all the families there, so that their children can enjoy that. And yeah, with this happening, I got this little dream of like it's almost 5 years old or something, and I got this little dream to say, okay, one day I'm going to pack my luggage, put in all sweets I know and chocolate, and go to Africa to give them children because they have also the same problem as the people there or the children there. I don't know if they have ever tried it. They have to try it. So that was like the motivation of a 6 or 5 year old little boy. And that dream, yeah, that kept going on for, I don't know, a few years. And then I somehow, I won't say I don't want to say I forgot it, but it somehow got lost. And now, like 2 years ago, when I wrapped up and got up again and found myself again, this memory came back also, and that's what's also driving me. This little dream of the 6 year old, and I don't want to disappoint this little 6 year old of myself. So that's I think what kept me to or get interested in the people who are in need. So realizing I have it and they don't, and that's unequality, and I don't want that. I
Mm.
want equality.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And just to see those little faces when they put a little slither of chocolate in their mouths, maybe for the first time in their whole lives, and their whole little faces will light up, not only for the chocolate, although that will be an incredible experience for them, but also for what you're bringing, the hope and helping them realize and see that they too can, lead a life of their dreams, that they too can believe in themselves and they too are awesome, unique, amazing human beings who can grow up to become whoever they want to be. And, whatever one person has done, anybody can do, anybody can achieve. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's so beautiful. And so you're starting in a little village with 30 children in an orphanage in South Africa, and then what projects are you going towards around the world? What do you see your big vision as?
My big vision is, this, as I said, this project is right now called ICANN, but I was also interested in, for example, our sustainable environment. So I got into a project of the European association and last year, and I realized, okay, we have to do something about that because I got in touch with a really good quote. I forgot from whom it was, but it says we didn't inherit the world from our parents, we borrowed it from our kids.
Mm,
And this is so true.
mhm,
And when I heard that, that made me really think, and I said, okay, you have to do something for that. So
mhm.
one thing I want to do in the future is also to take care of the environment, to leave it as I have to say, I want to leave this place better than I found it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that
that,
exactly. That's so beautiful. And this is how I see people. I always want to leave them better than I find them. But your vision is clearly bigger than mine, I can, because you say you want to leave the world a better place than when you find it. So absolutely. And that is so beautiful. I'm so blessed to have you on this call, and it's a real honor to be able to interview you and find out a little bit more about this exciting project that you've got ahead of you, and also future projects going on. It's a really beautiful thing when you want to help somebody else and you want to really help them realize what they can do and what they're capable of based on your own experience, and the opportunities that you maybe didn't have, and then you kind of did, but much later. And what a massive difference it would be to be able to give young children that opportunity that you didn't have for 15, 20, 25 years, and
Yeah.
to be able to give it back to them now and see the changes that will make for them in 5 years, 10 years. Do you have any plans to go back and interview them in say 5 years time or 10 years time?
It's I wouldn't say interview, but I want to visit them at least once a year. That's
Fantastic.
I don't know if it's going to one day so big that you need the whole year to visit them. I don't know, but what I have in mind or in my heart is if I help them, I also want to see and really feel that they are happy with my own eyes, not only from here, but really feel and see it and to live with it, to see how they live. So only that I can really understand what they went through and what makes them also happy. And this is one thing I don't want to, I don't think I can do it without going and seeing and living with them. So even if it's just for a few weeks or whatever, but I don't think I can go without seeing it, with living it, feeling it without my own eyes.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you. Oh, it's been so, so wonderful to speak with you and find out more about this exciting project and your exciting event. So, thank you so much, Aykan Akin from beautiful Frankfurt in Germany. And if you would like to support the charity, the event, the future projects, or find out more, then please do visit www.all-i-can.de. And I'm sure that Akin will be very, very delighted to give you more details, more information, help you find out about the ticket sales and how you can buy tickets. So thank you so much for joining us this evening, and thank you so much from Aykan and Natasha Aylott. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.
Thank you very much.